God, season 4, baby! I can't believe how much we have covered in this video. Like, I have no idea how long this video is going to be until I edit it all down. But just to give you an idea of how long so far it's taken me to film today. So I started at 12 o'clock and what time is it now? It's nearly 7 o'clock. And I think the last part of filming is probably going to take me about half an hour. So yeah, thank you so much if you're still at this point watching. I really, really appreciate it. And like I said, I hope you're really, really enjoying the deep dive of what if S Club 7 made a video game. So the last one, the last season is called S Club 7 Viva Barcelona. So this is season 4, episode 1, The Fame in Spain. So S Club have a new manager. I think you pronounce the name as Mr. Welderbaum. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And they decide to send the group to Barcelona in Spain to write their new album. They will meet Lyle, who works for the record company, and Maria, their very own housekeeper. The group feel a bit disappointed that after the success in the US, no one knows who they are in Spain. Bradley soon threatens to leave the group to become a painter, and the future of the band is in doubt. Woof. It's not a good start for season 4, is it? Throughout the seasons, we've had episodes where they've travelled by plane and then they've even done a bit of skydiving and parachuting to get to the next location. So they get back on the plane to Barcelona and then they parachute into the train station when they get into Spain. So they could have some extra funny visuals where when they're falling down from the sky, they see suitcases opening and just bits of clothes just fall out of the suitcase. And maybe whilst they're going down to the train station, they have to try and grab like shoes and clothes and bags and all the different stuff that you would pack on your holidays. Then the next thing is you've got to try and find Lyle in the train station. And once you find him, there will be a cutscene about where you're going to next. We're then going to take a nice chilled drive through Barcelona and you are going to try and find your villa. When you get to the villa, you will meet your very own housekeeper, Maria. This is the time where you can take in the locations. Maybe you can have little conversations with Maria and Lyle to get to know them a little bit better. And what's different about this villa is you've got things like hammocks. So, you can go onto the veranda and you can chill in your hammock and you can just look around the scenery of the game. And then you'll have a bit where all the band members need to come together and they're going to try and discuss what their next plan is. Like, how are they going to get their music out in Barcelona? So to get that inspiration, you're then going to travel around Barcelona and you're going to take Paul's camcorder again and you're going to take pictures to get inspiration. So you're going to look for landmarks like the Walking Lizard and the Parc Güell in Barcelona. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And then you're going to go to town and you're going to do a little dance and a little performance to get a feeling what Barcelona is all about. So you get to do tricks. Maybe Bradley brought his roller skates to Barcelona and decides to do a bit of roller skating. I mean, why not? It's like the Bratz game where you press R1 and you can just have your roller skates out. Maybe when you play as Bradley, you just get to do that all the time. You also have a part of the game where Bradley wants to become a painter, and maybe you can spend a bit of time. You get your easel, you take it onto the veranda, and you could just paint for a little bit. You could just paint whatever you want. It doesn't matter if it's fantastic, but at least you get the time to do a little bit of painting. And then you can show your paintings to all the S Club members and they will try and persuade you not to become a painter. Even if you are the best painter in the world, S Club 7 want you to be part of the band. Season 4, episode 2, A Problem Like Maria. So the band find it difficult to settle into the Spanish life. Tina misses LA. Lyle gets upset when they try to give him a few pointers on how to do his job. And Maria starts to behave a little bit differently. The group finds out that she's had multiple jobs and she feels like the wage isn't big enough for her. So the group try and find ways on how to get her paid more money. You're going to have little situations where you are walking around the villa and you find Maria just sleeping in a bowl of paella, because that's what happens in the episode. But then you play as Rachel and Hannah again, because they're going to be doing some more sneaking. They get to follow Maria and they try and find out what's going on. Like, why is Maria falling asleep in paella? And then that's when you discover that she has several jobs and she is clearly not getting paid enough. You do sneak through, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Barcelona Escasio de Franca. I'm sure that was pronounced correctly. And then you find her in the train station as a train attendant. So you find out she's a housekeeper, a conductor, and then you follow her into a club where she plays maracas and gets paid for playing maracas. So once you find out what's going on with Maria, you obviously have a discussion with the band on how you can get her more money. Maybe there's a scene or a part of the level where you go around Barcelona and try and pick up bits of money from the ground, and that's what you give to Maria. Then you get to rehearse at La Paloma for Lyle, and the band hasn't had a chance to sing yet. So once you find out what's going on with Maria, you then go to rehearsals and you get to perform for the very first time, and you get to choose which song you want to rehearse. Season 4, Episode 3, John de Bergerac. I don't know how you pronounce that word, but anyhow, let's move on. After Bradley falls for a girl, he asks John to pen romantic letters on his behalf, because Bradley doesn't think that he can write a good poem. So then John gets into his new role and keeps sending the letters even when Bradley has ended the relationship. Hannah and Rachel attempt to give Joe a ladylike makeover. Meanwhile, Paul and Tina are having a different problem and they are suffering from a writer's block. I've not written too much for this episode, but I definitely want to focus on Tina and Paul having a writing block. And the way that I think that would be really nice to do this is, if you have played The Last of Us, there is a part where Ellie and Joel, in certain parts of the game, they play guitar. And I think Tina and Paul should do the same. They should basically play the guitar correctly, and then you play a really nice tune that you should be able to perform later on in the game. You could also go around the town again to get some inspiration, but maybe this time you have to find different places that are playing music, and that'll help you write your next song. So we've obviously got this plot that Bradley has fallen in love with this girl, and what Bradley has to do is he has to sneak love letters to this girl he has met at the venue when she was doing flamenco. But you don't want to get caught by her dad. So Bradley has also got to do either a little bit of sneaking, or he needs to, discreetly hide these love letters in different places without the dad spotting them. There could be also a funny section where you get to write the poem. And it could just be a load of waffle, but it actually gets read out of what you've written, and it's not just like some generic thing. You could write your own, like, roses are red, violets are blue poem. It could be awful. And the girl's like, oh my god, that's so romantic. Thank you so much. I want to say right now that when I watched this episode when I was younger at the time, I didn't just cry. I bawled. Like, I boo-hooed, especially when Paul was my favourite member of S Club 7. When he left, I was absolutely devastated. So yeah, when I watched this episode, it absolutely broke my heart. So, Season 4, Episode 4, Goodbye is the hardest word. Paul confesses to Hannah that he is ready to leave the band. He wants Hannah to help him break the bad news to the others. The band take the news hard and try to persuade Paul to stay. Elsewhere, John tries to learn how to become a matador, and Joe and Tina ban junk food in the house. Meanwhile, Lyle takes up a new habit of spending his time gazing at local waitresses. Hannah feels that Paul is being distant, so her task is to find Paul on the beach, and it gets interrupted by Bradley. So in this one, the aim of the mission is you've got to try and go around Barcelona and try and find out where on earth Paul has gone. Then you're going to have a multiple choice conversation to actually get it out of Paul as what is wrong with, like, Paul, what's going on? What's wrong with you? Is there any way that I can help? And then once you've had that conversation, that gets interrupted by Bradley. But then everybody is asked to gather at a restaurant, and this is when the bad news breaks out. But obviously, the band have had many memories with Paul, and they want to organise a leaving party. So for this, you get to decide what meals they have, what drinks they have. You get to design, the tables, and you get to, oh my God, so you've got Paul's camcorder, and you get to decide what pictures from the camcorder get put on the table, and then everybody reflects on the amazing times that S Club 7 have had, and no, I can't. It'll actually just make me cry. So you can decide what meal they're having, what drinks, prepare the tables, you can light the candles, and you can make him a little leaving cake as well if you want to. I hate this episode. Season 4, episode 5, Absent Friends. The band decided they have to remain together and shorten their name to S Club. The group are really missing Paul, and they are really upset until they decide to take over Paul's favourite club, Club Catalan. There, they discover that Paul has one last surprise for the band before he goes and leaves. Paul's departure mirrors his exit from the band in real life. Meanwhile, Lyle pursues a certain waitress with the help of Maria. You've got to go and find the club. And when you get to club, obviously, you get rejected to buy it. But then you've got to find this mysterious video. So maybe there's a letter on the table to say, oh, I've got one last surprise for you. This letter has been written by Paul. And then you've got to go around your villa to try and find this VHS. And then you put it in the TV and you watch Paul's message, which then he tells you that he has bought the club. Then this could be like a house flipper moment, and you get to decorate the whole club as you want to. Now, do you know what? I'm going to be kind. There's going to be no budget in this because I really want the players to take their time to relax because, in House Flipper, you're not timed. So I think it should be the same for this. I think the players should have plenty of time to decorate the venue as they would like. Season 1, episode 6, Shakedown. The band get lost in redecorating the club, but Rachel and Tina cannot decide which colour they want to paint the walls. Meanwhile, John and Bradley battle to create the best cocktail and become the cocktail king and make the best cocktails in a time limit. So for this, we're going to ignore the fact that Rachel and Tina can't decide what colour to paint the walls, as we've already discussed that this is going to be a sandbox experience for the player. So we're going to continue on with the sandbox ideas. So we get to decide the menu, and we get to decide what people are eating for the grand opening of the club. This bit is going to be like a cocktail simulator. So when the party gets started, they get to create their own cocktails. So you can maybe either make, a bog standard one, like a pina colada or a tequila sunrise, or you can just make your own cocktail and you get to decide what the cocktail is called. I think that would be a really nice idea. But then after that, you can only serve a certain amount of people in a time limit. And if you don't serve a certain amount of people, then you have to start again. You can either be Bradley or John for this challenge. It depends who is your favourite. I don't think it necessarily matters who wins for this, or it's not going to necessarily matter for the game. It's just the idea of having that pressure of trying to make as many cocktails as you can and to serve as many customers as you can. Then there's a section where Joe and Hannah go on a little bike ride. So if you just want to have a cycle around Barcelona and go into different restaurants or different shops, or again, if you want to spend time at the beach, then you can do that. But in that time, Hannah and Joe do spend all their money and they do need to get back to the club. So after this chill section, you then got a time limit to get back to the club. Then there's going to be a second cocktail competition, but it's not just Bradley and John. Joe is also involved as well. So again, you can play who you want to for this. And the Emmy game is just you've got to make the best cocktails. Season 1, Episode 7, Superstition. So Lyle tries to get S Club 7's latest demo played by cult radio personality El Porco. However, the DJ is only interested in taking advantage. To make matters worse, the group have a run of bad luck. When Tina loses her lucky ring, Maria breaks her ankle, and El Porco ends up in hospital after one of the band's gigs. So there's a lot going on here. So we're gonna break it down. So first of all, we need to get to the restaurant. We're gonna play as Rachel or John, and you're going to find El Porco at the restaurant, and you're gonna discuss about maybe getting a deal. Then you've got a section where Tina needs to find her ring with a metal detector. So she is going to go round the villa and try and find where this lucky ring is. Whilst that's going on, we then have to take Maria to hospital because she has broken her ankle. Bradley was very clumsy and bumped into Maria. And you have to drive to the hospital as fast as you can so that Maria can get the right treatment for her broken ankle. So I don't know who made this fish stew, but I'm going to presume I think it was Tina, but I might be wrong. So one of the band members ends up making a fish stew as El Porco is coming to the club tonight, but it wasn't a very good meal and it's made everybody poorly. And then you've got to try and perform as the band members when you're not feeling well. So maybe the music like really slows down for this, and maybe the screen wobbles a bit just to show that you're not feeling well. For a very short time, you then get to play as Maria, as you find that El Porco is now in the hospital at the same time as her. And somehow Maria has one of the demos on her. How handy is that? And then she's got to try and walk with her broken ankle to El Porco's bed and give them the S Club 7 demo. Maybe Maria gets like a little dancing bit in this, and you think that she's going to be a really bad dancer, and then when you press the right button, she just like does handstands and break dances and that, despite the fact that she's got a broken ankle. And then going back to the metal detector mini game, Tina then finds the ring in the restaurant after being worn by a lobster. So you've got a mini game as well after you have found the ring to try and get the ring without hurting the lobster, and then you decide to release the lobster into the sea. Season 1, Episode 8, Spanish John. John surprises the band by announcing that he is Spanish and he has discovered the existence of a long-lost relative, which apparently is a national hero. So John embraces the Spanish lifestyle by insisting that he eats out late, taking siestas, and going out to party till early in the morning. The band also have to cheer up a broken-hearted Maria. For this main mission in this level, you're basically just going to play as John. This is going to be a really chilled experience. You get to go around Barcelona and you get to explore the town, explore the cafes, have tapas, and you get to go to the hammock in the villa and have your siesta. Like, this is just a time for you to play as John. I think this is important because I feel like you don't really get to play as John very often in this game. And then obviously Maria has had a heartbreak. I haven't got the name of the person that Maria's heartbroken by, but Tina and Rachel decide to take Maria shopping after she goes through a heartbreak and gives Maria a makeover. So you could take her shopping, she could get some new clothes, new accessories, she can get her hair and her makeup done and just make Maria feel fabulous. So I've actually not got anything for season 4, episode 9, The Rain in Spain. Again, when I was trying to find information and watching, I just couldn't grasp enough to get an idea for a level. So we're going to make moves and we're going to go to season 4, episode 10. Season 4, episode 10. Basically, what happens in this episode is there is a mice infestation, and you also realise that they don't have a license in the club to play music. So if they don't get a license, then they can't play the music. So Rachel ends up going on a date with the food inspector And apparently he makes up the mind about the license as well, but here we are. What we've got to do in this level is find all the 100 mice in the club, and then you're going to go on a date where you play as Rachel. Now, Rachel has to make the right decisions in the date, so it's going to be a multiple choice option. If you pick correctly, you can move on with the game. If you don't, then you're not going to get that music license, which is a pretty big problem for S Club 7. And then after the date, you want to do an incredible performance and you want to thank Miguel for giving you the chance to have a music license. Season 4, episode 11. After hitting the road to showcase their new song, the band gets lost in the middle of nowhere. So it's not good news. Not only do they break down, but they also somehow get their car stolen. And they don't know how they're going to survive the night. John and Joe are going to do a section where it's going to be a sandbox version of the building the camp. So they're going to find the resources like on Sims 2 Castaway, where you get washed up on the shore and you've got to find resources to start a new life on the island. It's going to be a similar vibe with this. So John and Joe go and find resources to make the shelter for the night. And the other band members are going to try and resource food, and they're going to keep an eye out and see if there are any animals that could potentially attack them. When Joe and John have made their shelter, they then go off again to see if they can find any other resources, and they just end up at a party. And they end up spending time at this party, and they can go and play mini games, have a couple of drinks, and John and Joe are just living their best life while all the others are there trying to survive the night in the woods. When it comes to the next day, they're absolutely shattered. They need to try and find this van, and somehow they find the van, and it seems to be an alt-right nick. So you're going to have a night of trying to, find the right things to eat, trying to build the right shelter. Like, this is getting serious now. Season 4, episode 12. With just 24 minutes before going on stage, Rachel realizes that she has forgotten Tina's birthday, and Hannah is then desperately trying to search for a ladies' toilet that is not out of order. And then Lyle worries that his job is on the line when S Club 7 are being secretive around him. And he ends up being stalked by a guy in a briefcase. For this episode, you are going to set up a birthday party for Tina. Now, we've set up quite a few parties in this game. It's going to follow the same principle. You get to design the cake, design the banner, decide, the scenery and what is going on in the party area, and you also get to choose the music. When you've done that, you are going to play as Rachel, and she is going to go around Barcelona trying to find a present, but all the shops seem to be closed. And then you realize that there's one shop left that is open, and you've got a time limit to run to that shop, where you end up buying a dress. So when you get back to meet everybody, you realise that Tina is wearing the dress that you have bought for Tina's birthday. Then a little disaster happens, Tina rips her dress, and then Rachel's like, surprise, surprise, I ended up buying you the same dress. And Tina's like, oh my God, you really thought of me today, thank you. So you play as Lyle then for a short amount of time, and you want to find out who this mysterious man is with a briefcase. So you are just sneaking around, trying not to make any noise, and if you do, you get caught by the mysterious man, who turns out just to be the plumber. And this is the final episode that we're going to talk about for the adventures side of the S Club 7 party adventure game. So this is episode 13, season 4. The bandmates are feeling homesick, and they are just really, really excited to go home for this. So they have to reach Barcelona's docks, and they jump on a ship because they think they're going to England, but they actually are on the way to Egypt without realizing. For this, you have to reach Barcelona's docks and jump on the ship in a time limit. When you do that, the ship starts sailing. But then you come to realise that you are travelling to Egypt. So you need to do some mini games to try and convince the sailors and the driver of the boat to take you to England. When you complete the mini games, you then ask the driver to give you a tutorial on how to drive the boat. You get a little tutorial, and then you are setting sail finally back to London. Oh my god. I'm sorry I had to speed up that last little bit. My microphone died and I don't know how much charge it's got left, but we have done it. I can't actually believe it, to be honest, but thank you so much for listening to that. I hope it gives you a sense of what the game could potentially be like. I really do feel like this would make an absolutely fantastic game. Now, the final part of the video I'm going to talk about today is what the game cover could potentially look like. So I've got two different designs. So this is my main design. I am going to put a bigger picture on the screen, but this is S Club 7 Worldwide Party. So I'll tell you what my ideas were for this. Now, this was taking me back to my media studies brain because I did study media studies at high school and college. So I really wanted to get the essence that S Club 7 are traveling the world. So I've got the galaxy as the main background, and I've got the globe in the bottom third of the poster. I wanted people to know straight away that this was going to be a game about S Club 7. So I've done the shooting star because I was thinking of like reach for the stars. You've got the S Club S in the middle of the star, and then you've got Worldwide Party around it. So you know what the game is called, you know what the game is going to be about, and I just wanted that essence of nostalgia there. I also want to add that I wanted to add a few little details to the star. So I've got a couple of little snowflakes and I've got a variety of music notes because obviously they sing all around the world. And maybe I didn't add it here, but maybe I'll add like different music notes. And then the one little star which stands out here is the car. So I've got a star which is shaped as a car, and I've put that on top of the globe because it shows that they're going to be traveling around the world. I hope it's not a bad cover. I did not use AI at all for this. You will be happy to know. Now, the second design that I've got is still the same name. So it's S Club Worldwide Party. So my idea for this was I wanted to give that essence of nostalgia back. You know, when you picked up an album in the 2000s, like Now That's What I Call Music or Pop Party, or I think Top of the Pops even brought out some albums as well. So I wanted to give that essence of the 2000s nostalgia. Now, due to copyright reasons, obviously I cannot use S Club 7's images unless I was to use it for like a commentary reason. So instead, I kind of just went for the silhouettes. So I went for the rainbow colours because like, and when the rainbow's shining over you, that's when your dreams will all come true. And you know, they're all doing like different poses, like one's dancing and one's singing and one's break dancing. Then I decided to add the disco ball as well because they seem to be performing a lot. You know, they're under the disco ball, they've got all the stage lights on them, and I just really wanted to capture that they're just going to be partying all the time in this game. And that's it. That's it. We have taken a very deep dive of what if S Club 7 had brought out a video game. I just want to say a massive thank you if you have watched till the end. I really appreciate it. I am just getting started on my longer content journey, so it would be fantastic if you could go and subscribe to my channel, give it a like, give it a share if you have any friends that are a fan of S Club 7. And I also hope that I put S Club 7 into a good light. You know, they're a very well respected band. I absolutely loved them back in the 2000s. You know, I grew up with them in my childhood. And I just kind of wanted to bring that essence back to 2026. So you can also check me out on TikTok as well. It's Chill and Comfort Gaming. It's the same name as my YouTube. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for the next one.